Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of The Last Word on Rugby. The tests are done. It's on to the Rugby Championship. Rassie Erasmus again surprised with a couple of kids, if I can call them that, in a wider
Mm.
training group. And then he cut down his squad for the first two tests, heading into those home games against Australia. With me today to discuss that, Mike Greenaway. Before we dive into the box and a little bit of the Currie Cup, please don't forget to click that like button, subscribe to our channel as we bring you everything leading up to the Rugby Champs with a little bit of local rugby in it. Mike, just like I was pleasantly surprised by the three junior Boks being called up to that training camp by Rassie Erasmus. Again, something not a lot of people expected him. They both, not both of them, but all three of them, Mashin
Mm.
Pete, Bato Lekani, and Jeswell Jooster, the other Chesy.
Yeah.
They were excellent in the World Rugby Under 20 Championship.
Yeah.
They obviously helped the junior Boks to bring that title home, but what a surprise to see them being called up so that they can
Yeah.
experience the senior side of Springbok rugby.
Yeah. So this is what Rassie does. He's always a step ahead. Obviously, those guys aren't going to play, but he's already seeing that they potentially will play for the Springboks. Obviously, and so he's brought them in just to get used to the systems, to get to know what it's like to be in a Springbok squad. Um, and that's always what Rassie does. He stays ahead of the game. He's brought these guys in to get inspired, see what is going to be required of them if they are in fact going to make that transition to be actual Springboks. And they've got to see what it takes and learn from the senior guys. And I mean, Rassie said, look, the guys aren't going to be picked, but let them learn and let them know
Mm.
what it takes to be a Springbok. Yeah. Well, and Rassie's got nothing to lose there, and those guys got everything to gain. So it's bring the guys in, just let them see what it will take for them to be with the big boys.
Yeah, and uh, the great thing for me about that is I would like to see more of that because those guys will have to wait until they make that transition from under 21 rugby to Currie Cup now. That's widely seen as a developmental
Mm,
competition in South Africa now, to URC before rubbing shoulders with those kind
yeah.
of guys, even though they maybe are on a level to play alongside them in a senior side. But because we have that um, 1, 2, 3 at the URC franchise, the junior guy who's maybe, I don't really want to say better, but who can
Mm,
become better than number
yeah.
2 or number 3. They will never get a shot because the URC franchises must
Yeah.
always look at number 1, 2, and 3. So it's amazing to see that those guys are getting
Mm,
that recognition from the top so that the franchises can see, well, maybe we need to
yeah.
also push these guys earlier.
Yeah. And it's about planting seeds.
Mm.
I remember 20 years ago, um, the Springboks had a similar kind of a program of bringing through guys who'd made it at SS schools level. And I remember there was 5 guys who, under Nick Mallet, came came into the system, and 2 or 3 of them eventually became Springboks. Kopani Bobo was one of them. But the whole idea was to bring guys in, get them accustomed to the senior rugby,
Yeah.
what it will take for them to make it. And and that's the whole thing. I mean, if you look at that junior Springbok team that has just won, the statistics show that maybe five of the
Yeah,
30 will come
yeah,
through at the senior level. Not it's just how it works. Not everyone makes it, but um, they've got a greater chance of making it if they see what is required of them and they get into that system and Rassie speaks to them. And I mean, wow, if you're 18, 19 years old
yeah,
and you're rubbing shoulders with Eben Etzebeth and all the
exactly.
greats of
Yeah,
Springbok rugby,
BBC. Yeah.
yeah, the list goes on and on. So you will see from that Springbok junior Springbok team that won in Rodrigo, five or six will make it, and I would suggest that those three that Rassie has brought in, that he's particularly identified, have a
Mm.
better chance of getting there.
Yeah. And then moving on to that extended or the proper squad that's going into the first two tests, the local tests, one in Johannesburg and one down here in Cape Town. Any surprises to that squad, or for me it was fairly predictable who
Mm,
was going to
yeah.
be cut, who was going to be on
Mm,
that what do they call it, standby list,
yeah.
and then who was going to make it. I don't think there's really any
Yeah,
surprises
yeah,
in
yeah.
it.
It exactly. And that says a great deal. That's a statement in itself. When the Springbok coach and his selectors are in a position where it's who to leave out, who
Mm,
to, who's going to be the hard luck guys who are just not quite making it. That's what you want.
yeah,
I mean, in Springbok eras, uh, before Rassie, when the team wasn't going so well, it was who is he going to pick?
who, yeah, who,
But now it's who's he going to leave out?
yeah,
And I mean, wow, you just yeah, and the Springbok squad announcement where there are no waves and there's no shock horror, but what about him? Or gosh, what's going on there? Um, that obviously never happened
mm,
because it's the Boks in a very settled place.
yeah,
Um, so many guys playing well, um, and yes, there are guys who didn't make it, but you don't look at anyone in that squad and say, "But why? What's he
they
doing
don't
there?"
belong there. Yeah,
Um,
you're right.
yeah, so it's a position of excellent strength. The
Mm,
Boks are looking good. And no one can really query why someone should be in or why someone shouldn't
mm,
be out because all the players are deserving.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, listening to Rassie speaking post Georgia saying um, he's gonna maybe stop or limit the experimentations. It's 2 years out
Yeah,
from the
mm,
World Cup. My view is that no team they've played recently have been able to figure out just how the team is going to play because they've been changing every 1 or 2 games. They've been changing the players,
yeah,
which in itself is a very good thing. It keeps that unpredictability in the Bok team
yeah,
going. So I personally don't feel that Rassie should move away from alternating combinations
yeah,
in that squad just to keep the All Blacks, the
yeah,
Aussies, and Argentina guessing. I mean, imagine you changing over the last 2 years, 2 seasons. While you are winning, you may lose the odd game here, one or two. I know
mm,
in New Zealand the target will be to win both of those away tests, but it's kind of not that too important
mm,
in a 2 years before the World Cup. I mean, you would want to go
yeah,
do that in the World Cup year, and you don't want to show your settled combinations 2 years ahead of a World Cup. So for me,
yeah,
absolutely keep changing. Put Andre Estres and Kainan Moody next to each other.
yeah,
Do Andre Jesse, Damian
mm,
Kainan. That was brilliant to see against Georgia. Like
yeah,
the young buck next to the older calm
yeah,
head guy, and Kainan had an absolutely strong,
Oh,
strong
he
game.
was
Like
tremendous.
it was
Yeah,
brilliant. So
yeah,
I don't know what your opinion on that is, but I would like to
yeah,
see Rassie continue changing
yes,
just to keep that unpredictability.
yeah. And this is the really cool thing. So there's so many options for Rassie, and we're still 2 years
Yeah,
out from that World Cup. And I
exactly.
just want to discuss one position alone, which says it all. I mean, 10. Who is
Yeah,
our number one 10?
yeah,
Wow. When you've got Andre, you've got Sasha, you've
mm,
got Marnie, just to start with. And those guys are going to have to play. And
yeah,
someone's going to have to put his hand on that jersey and say it's mine. Okay, look, Sasha, we understand he maybe had a little bit of a hip pointer injury in that last game, but look, either way, he didn't look like $1 million, and
yeah,
but we know he can play like $1 million. But he showed that he's human. Marnie, I thought, has really put his hand up the last couple of games when
yes,
he's
yeah.
started, and Andre when he's come on. Wow, I mean,
I
he's
was,
been finishing games off
yeah,
fantastically. So you look at three fly halves and you think, cheapers, I mean, the Springbok rivals around the world would give anything to have one of them, and we've got three.
yeah,
So I think what we're going to see in the Rugby Championship now is those guys are playing to be the number one Springbok fly half. Uh, so Rassie, really, it's that first test against the All Blacks at Eden Park in September. I think that is where we will see um, what his number one team is, because that is the biggest game for the Springboks for quite some time, probably since the last World Cup.
yeah,
They want to win that game, and they haven't won in Auckland since 1937. This is the game that's being built up.
yeah,
It's the big harp game. Um, Surely Russie's now going to pick his number one team for that game.
correct, yeah,
And before that Auckland game, he's got two tests against the Wallabies.
mm,
So I think we're going to see some maneuvering there. He's going to try and get his best team into position, and then it's all about those two games in New Zealand. But so much for so many players to play for.
mm,
There's not a heck of a lot of positions that are 100% nailed down. I mean,
yeah,
you'll write to Peter Steph to toy in any day. You know, there's a few here and there that are
yeah,
absolutely completely nailed down, but
certain, yeah,
wow. In every single position, there's three or four players pushing to be the number one.
yeah. Yes, like and I think that's the great thing currently of how Rassie's been going about his business with the squad. And we've been talking about it for months and months on end now that even that number three player is as good as that number one
Mm,
player that can step in and it won't
mm,
take the level of the team down. I want to come back to your point of that number 10 jersey and just how Andre and Mani's been going. It's and I think I hope this is the way the Boks will be going forward is they've seen that Mani can start a game and open up a game completely for the team. Just like he's passing, he's just that all round skill. And another thing of him, he's not afraid to put his head into the contact, whether
mm,
it's tackling the number 12 or loose forward running in his
mm,
channel. He doesn't stand back. But then once the game is open and there's sort of a lead build up, or even if it's tight, and you bring on Andre as the guy to
mm.
close out the game. He,
Yes.
he
Yeah.
was for years seen as a proper starter, someone that
Mm,
can build scoreboard pressure
mm.
for you. But now you have him as this older, wiser player that can close out
Yeah.
games for you. So what a brilliant fly off
Yeah.
position to be in for the Boks.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see if
Mm,
that is sort of the way that the Boks are moving in terms of how they
mm,
play their playoffs, even scrum half with Grant, and then bringing
mm,
on a more senior guy to
yeah,
just close out games.
yeah,
And it's
and
going to
I'm
be
just
interesting for Auckland, that selection
yeah,
for that Auckland
yeah,
test.
absolutely. And I just pick up hints and whispers that I think Tony Brown really likes Marnie.
Mm.
Just the odd comment he's made there. I think I've got a feeling Marnie is moving closer to pole position. And again, to repeat myself, we're talking about this position where you've got three fantastic fly halves, and they like jostling for position. But I like your suggestion. I think um, if you've got Marnie starting and you've got Andre to close a game out, I mean, wow, what more can you? And now we're not mentioning Sasha. I mean, so
Yeah.
Sasha's now he's now go he's now sitting thinking, I've got to really pull finger here because I
Mm.
was number one, but
Yeah.
two games later, maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
So you can't ask for a better place to be if you're Rassie Erasmus and Tony
If you're
Brown,
the
and you've
Bokkers,
got
yeah.
to pick a fly half to start for the Springboks.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, and just to add to what you alluded to earlier, man, the one thing I've really felt that has come through really clear from the Springboks is these four games, that they played, the preparatory games, is that Grant Williams has come through,
Yeah.
um, just nailed it. He is
Yeah. Oh, hands
he's the
down.
number one. He's the number one nine now, and that's an answer that Rassie needed.
Mm.
From the Barbarians, two times Italy, Georgia. Grant Williams didn't play the first two games as he was coming back from that neck niggle, and he has just put his name
Yeah.
in lights. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
No,
mean, wow.
no, that was amazing to see from him. Just like and I mean to come out and play like that after that neck injury is it's just something amazing. And just like hopefully he stays injury free for the next couple of games in the Rugby Championship leading to the last two against Argentina. One more thing I want to touch on is just we've spoken mostly about the backs now because they have been performing against those four sides, but I feel now that we're heading into a more tighter um, tournament, a tournament where everything depends on what your forwards do up front. Um, I mean, it's Australia. They might come here battered and bruised after this Lion series.
Mm,
We might not even know who's on the plane up until up
mm,
until they get here. But having forwards like the Boks currently possess, I mean, those backs won't be able to do what they are doing at the moment
yeah.
if you don't have a Eben Grafting, a Peter Steff, Vincent
Mm,
Tuka as he made his
mm,
debut. That front row that debuted against Georgia. I mean, they are probably, I would say, fourth choice in their position when it comes to
mm,
the box. But yes, like it's
yeah.
I can't even express it to have that and still be dominating.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah, I mean, and we haven't even mentioned Volko Low there.
Yeah,
And I mean how he's just absolutely destroying guys. And that front row that started against Georgia, all debutants, and they played with so much hunger, so
yeah,
much fire. I mean, jeepers, you can go to war with that front row, and they had naught caps
yeah,
between them. Yeah, it's really looking good, Leighton, to be honest. And I mean, there was that Eben Etzebeth gave an interview at the weekend where he said he's 33 years old. He's got 130 odd caps, and he is more excited than ever to play for the Springboks. And he is not going anywhere. He just wants to be
Yeah,
involved. And
yeah.
that just gives you an idea of the atmosphere in the Springboks right now, the hunger. I mean, no one wants to go. No,
Yeah.
everyone wants to hang in. Everyone wants to play. There's guys coming through. I mean, Rassie's done that brilliantly. And we knew those 4 games that we just seen were going to be back opportunities, but guys have come through and they played, and they look very much like starting Springboks. I mean,
Mm.
so Rassie's now,
Yeah.
I think it's eight guys that he's given debuts to, and they look like Springboks.
Yeah.
So the older guys know that there are these fellows coming through, and they've got to play. And as Evan said, I know um, that I have to be fitter than I've ever been before.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I start to drop my standards, these young, hungry, faster, better, quicker, stronger guys, they are
They
bashing
will
the door
pass you.
down.
Yeah.
So yeah, this 4 match block that we've just ended really was a great success for us.
Yeah. And very excited for what's to come in a couple of weeks. With that first test against Australia. Excited to see just which way Rassie will be going with his team selection. Um, I I I would think that yeah, it could be another dominating rugby championship for the Boks. Obviously, that Auckland Test, Eden Park's going to be the
Mm,
one that they are going to gun for. He might send over a reconnaissance squad of what 11, 12 players in advance. Have them acclimatized, and then
mm,
hopefully they will be up for that first test there.
yeah,
Speaking about guys coming through, um, well in the box setup now. If we can shift over to the Currie Cup, there's been a lot of talk about the Currie Cup and its shine going away due to the
mm,
URC European competitions. There's no more Boks involved. We back in the day we would wait for a Skalkberger for Ridu Priya to return from Bok duty to join in at the Currie Cup. Pat Lambie, who one
mm,
year single-handedly thwarted the Western Province in a final.
mm,
Um, the uh, those days are long gone. And I think people must accept that the
yeah,
Currie Cup as a domestic competition is there for younger guys now to put their hands up to
yeah,
be in contention for URC rugby. And now we get to see junior Springboks playing in the
yeah,
Currie Cup s- trying to make a name for themselves. Guys, I'm excited
yeah,
to see is Hashim Peed,
yeah.
Riley Norton here in Western
Yes,
Province. There's a bunch of guys who will mix with seasoned
yeah,
players who are on the fringes of the URC, and they will be there to guide those young guys in terms of just what it means and what it
yeah,
is to play senior professional rugby in
yeah,
South Africa. So really looking forward to the Currie Cup and the talent it can produce for
yeah.
the franchises to look at.
Yes, that's right. And the Currie Cup has to be seen in the perspective of how rugby is at
How
the
the
moment.
calendar is, yeah.
And I'll be very honest with you. I've never seen a boring Currie Cup game. I'm talking about the last season a lot, and its grandeur diminished. But I just love the Currie Cup. I love watching young guys coming through trying to make a name for themselves, and once put you reframe the Currie Cup, okay, so you're not judging it on when you watched all those great Springboks and
Yeah,
those like
yeah.
massive game. Reframe it, see it in where it lies now in the greater picture of our
Mm.
game, and then just enjoy watching those young men. All of them want to be Springboks, and some of them will be.
Yeah,
Um, so the Currie Cup is invaluable. It is priceless. It is just a magnificent competition, and even though we see it in a different light now. I mean, our rival countries, so the South Africa's rival countries,
yeah,
would love to have a Currie Cup. They don't have a Currie
definitely.
Cup
They don't.
bubbling under, bringing through their young players. But South Africa does,
Mm.
and it is just hugely valuable, and we must appreciate it, value it, and encourage those young players
Yeah,
who are all wanting to be Springboks one day, and some of
mm.
them will be.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
no, the Currie Cup is great. I'm looking forward to it. As
yeah.
I say, I've never seen a boring Currie Cup game.
And we are starting with some interesting games. Bulls down here in Cape Town at DHL Stadium against Western Province. The Sharks and the Lions are at it at Alice Park.
Yeah,
And for me, the Shark squad and the Lion squad. And
yeah,
don't write off the Bulls, but it's like those two starting up
yeah,
in Gauteng first up. It's like and then also we can't forget the unions who have um, dominated the Currie Cup in the last couple of years. The Cheetahs, Griquas, and Pumas. I mean, they see this as their opportunity to
yeah,
advertise their game against the other unions for them to break into that. Give me a European spot or
mm,
get me into a Super Rugby comp or whichever other international comp there is somewhere. They
yeah,
want to use this Currie Cup to show that they have the mettle of players to
yeah,
go and play not just in South Africa but internationally as well. And I don't
yeah,
feel it's far off where we're going to see the Griquas, Pumas,
mm,
Cheetahs getting back to where they were. I don't think it's far off from getting them into an international competition. It's just where and how do you work them into
mm,
a calendar that fits
yeah.
everything else around SA Rugby?
Yeah, and what we must also just be aware of in the Currie Cup is the quality of the coaching as well. I mean, you got the Sharks, JP Peterson. I mean, how well did he do with the Sharks last year? I mean, well, they went all the way. Um, there's France Steyn at the Cheetahs.
The Cheetahs.
There are a lot of good people involved in the Currie Cup, and it goes right through
Yeah,
all the squads. Being a Durbanite, I know what's going on at the Sharks, and I know how hard JP is working there and bringing young players through, and it's the same in all of the
yeah,
unions. We've got good people involved in the Currie Cup coaching setups and good young players coming through. And as I said earlier, everyone wants to make a name for themselves. You know, these young guys, inspired by watching the Springboks on the television, I mean, they all want to get there. And that's why I love the Currie Cup. It will produce some heroes by the end of this Currie Cup campaign. Rassie will have a few more names written down on his checklist.
yeah. And shout out to the Boland Cavaliers who are they are back.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Now, how
they are
about
back.
that for a story?
Yeah,
What a
and
story.
they want to upset some people. And they are, I know they are gunning for that match against Western Province, so that's going to be a cracker
Yeah,
of a game.
hugely exciting.
Yeah,
What's happening in the Boerland is just one of the great positive stories in we've got a lot of positive stories, but
yeah,
that is a
we
fantastic
do.
one.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, the Bulls, their brother club union. Watch out for the Boland. Mike, thanks for joining me again today. I appreciate your time as always. I'll be we'll be back soon. Hopefully we'll have a episode for you next week. If not, in 2 weeks' time we'll preview the Boks playing the Aussies, and we'll have a lekker chat on the Rugby Championship again. If you haven't yet, don't forget to click that like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with some more Bok action and some Currie Cup here and there, depending on just how great the games are. Mike, cheers, man. Thanks.